Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Aussie Veteran that reacts to the music and mental health. Yes, we're up and running. You see that black little that stripe there? Yeah, I've got my green screen coming. She's going to go up. I tell you what, I am absolutely blown away by the amount of people that contacted me over Aurora, and there's so much that I didn't know. And to be honest, I was like, I was really blown away, and it was sort of like, my God, this young girl's and her family, they've been through a lot. They've been through a real lot, you know. I'll just send that a little bit. Sorry, I don't want to trying to get my head in the middle of this. I've got to buy a new camera. This this camera ain't flash, but anyway. So she and I've listened to about mate, I must have downloaded her whole inventory of songs yesterday, put on my playlist because when I go walking down the beach, like yesterday, I went walking afterward. The day before, sorry, when I recorded and uploaded, I went walking afterwards, and obviously nothing comes through for a while because it's the morning in Australia here, and by the time people seen it in like Norway or Europe and England and the US and that, like yes, I got a lot of people from the US. So thank you very much for being on board. I appreciate that. But please, if you do see me out there, I am. This channel is devoted to mental health and music and how music can help. All right. Now, it's not the be all and end all. We all know that. I'm having a real bastard of a time with you at the moment, aren't you? Stay still. What's going on with you? Getting me all triggered up here. No, but seriously, I went for a walk down the beach and I wasn't really in a good mood after I finished the thing. I didn't think I'd done it justice, and I think I'm blaming myself a bit for like things behind me and stuff like that. You know, so I've got my green screen come as now, and I'm going to set that up so it looks a little bit more professional because I sort of want my head like, sort of on this side here, and then I can have a green screen where and then I can bring up, the box, if you like, there, and we can watch whatever, and we can talk, and then I can show things from the internet on different things like anxiety, how things to get you on anxiety and things like that, and it was really bizarre, and I was walking along, and I was thinking to myself, I, I thought I didn't do it justice, and then when I'm walking along, I'm thinking, how did, why didn't I, why don't I think I've done it justice? When I'm listening to this music, and all of a sudden, I just stopped thinking about it. I stopped thinking about it completely, and I thought, wow, there's something really with this girl and her music, the way she sounds, and it was, to put it bluntly, I was mesmerised. I really was. I was so mesmerised, and that's pretty hard for me because I'm like, I'm rock and roll guy. I love my Deep Purple and my Aussie, as anybody that's been around this channel knows, and I that's my forte. I just absolutely adore that sort of stuff. But then it comes to a point in my life where I think I need something really mellow, really mellow and casual, because I do take medical marijuana for my PTSD and anxiety and depression, and I also wear a morphine patch for. I've got 3 bulging discs that I didn't know at first when I got out of the military because I was so bloody stoned all the time. There was a period there where, after my wife passed away, where I stopped using anything. I didn't drink or anything like that. I smoked cigarettes and that, but then after that, I went up north working in 2012, I went. Well, I was working at the time. I was on drugs as well, but and going through torment, and I was good at my job, but at night when I was come to myself, I was no good. I'd be in a little donga room, and I'd be so obsessed with, why did I do that? I'm so guilty. Did I contribute to this mayhem? And I started a lot of guilt and a lot of shame. Over in Iraq, and whether you're indirectly or not directly involved, you're still part of the machine, and I racked myself with guilt, and mainly because of my daughter. Because when I seen my daughter passed away 4 months before I went to Iraq, and I was separated from the mother of my children at the time. And when my daughter passed, we didn't talk for like 2 or 3 months afterwards at all. It was a very, very horrible situation between me and her, and her ex and things like that. And and all I wanted to do basically was be with my child, but I was in the military, and I wasn't thinking right, and I wanted to run. I really did. I wanted to run when I shouldn't have. And this is one of my greatest regrets in life, is letting my daughter down, and that my older daughter down at that time, because when I got back, it wasn't long before my oldest daughter was back living with me full time. It didn't take too long at all. So as soon as I basically, and I'd be up and back up to north. I'd split up from this other girl, and I was still working up there with a very big global company, and I was a safety superintendent, and I was making waves. I was going up the tree, really quick. But I'd put all my effort into my work, and I wouldn't think during the day, and then afterwards at nighttime would come, and I'd be alone, and that's when all the demons would come out, you know what I mean? And I'd be having nightmares about this particular gentleman and his kid. I won't go into that, but I was having these, and it slowly wore me down until the point where I just cracked, and I just started smashing the alcohol up north, and people even commented at me like, drinking a bit much there, bro. You're the safety bloody superintendent. What are you doing? And it got to a point where I felt a little bit, sorry, I just want to move that. It got to the point where I thought to myself, are people making fun of me? And I started getting paranoid, and all these things started coming into play. And that's all under the umbrella of PTSD, right? Because I didn't know I had PTSD at the time. I didn't even know about the veteran affairs. I wasn't told anything when I left the military. All I was told is, thanks for your service, exemplary service. Thank you very much. Here's your medals, and I got my medals in the desert in Iraq, standing to attention, which is a bit bizarre. But I actually landed on Anzac Day and actually got my medals in Iraq on Remembrance Day at 11 o'clock. So that was the only special thing that come out of that. The rest of it was feeling guilt, and that wore me down over time, because you spend like 8-9 months, like I did. Probably maybe half of us did that went there on the first wave, but we stayed there for quite a while. I believe the next crew that overtook from us, the next Australian troops, were there for 6 months, because everything was set up, and they just moved to a different place nearer to the American air base they had close by. But we were 70 k's south of Baghdad, and we put in all these telephones. I mean, these telephones, don't get me wrong, we had the best telephone service that it's even better than what Telstra has here. And I mean, I don't know. Telstra even told us, even sent in a letter or something saying how well the communications was from Iraq to the US to Britain and to Australia. They just couldn't believe it. It was just all you did is basically the way we set up is basically just dial the normal phone number and you go straight through. Because we were actually working off Telstra satellite. Can't remember the name of the satellite. It's got military grade hardware in there for Australia. It's probably an American satellite, but anyway, I was feeling really guilty about my daughter, and then the more kids I seen over there, and the more people that didn't even know what we were doing. Some people would like look at us and say, "Where are you spaceman from?" Because that's how we looked. We were all kitted up with, Kevlar everywhere, and kids would be like looking at us, and it was really, really strange. And that's my biggest regret, was going because I was in the military already. When my daughter passed away, and me and my wife weren't getting on too well at the time, the CO of my unit brought down a chaplain from the Salvation Army. The chaplains up at the army that work with the army are very, very good. They're there on the spot every time. Where you go out and exercise, they're there. You know what I mean? They're there giving out, things that what are those things that stop you from dehydration? You put them in your drink, and they give you a drink of cordial or a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, if you have a little break and you walk past there, because nobody will override the Salvation Army guy. If you're on exercise and you need a drink, and, as long as you weren't busy, if you were just, plugging around and doing, bugger all, basically waiting for something or waiting for our part of the exercise to take place or something like that. A CO wouldn't go over to a Sally truck. That's what we used to call them, a salvation truck. For some juice and some water and a cup of tea and a biscuit. Because a cup of tea and a biscuit when you're on, say, an 8-week exercise like Talisman Sabre or whatever it was, Project Dark Knight or something like that. When we were at war games with America, sort of thing. They leave you there. Unless you're absolutely needed, then they'll call you. But they won't come and interfere with the chaplain guy. So they were very good. And I talked to the chaplain guy a lot. I was very, very depressed. And yet, I told that to the military, and they knew my daughter had just passed. And one of the things they said to me was, "Do you think it'd be better if you got out of the country?" And I sort of knew what was going on, because it was 9/11 had just happened, and I sort of knew what they were hinting at, and I thought, well, and I just said yes, I'm going. I need to get out. I need to get out and put my anger somewhere else, and I was angry, which turned into a lot of drugs, a lot of alcohol, a lot of deep depression, a lot of nightmares, a lot of screaming awake, screaming for my daughter, and all different things like that. And, but when I was walking down that beach, I didn't even know, after I loaded up, I didn't even know that I was going to get any responses whatsoever. And I've got to be mindful of the clock, because I can't make it 40 minutes, because people don't hang on for 40 minutes. People see you and get on, so I'm out of here. But this channel is about mental health, so I try to talk a little bit about it, and I want you to talk to me back about it as well, because it's important, and we don't want to hide this shit anymore, right? make your families understand. Give them some information off the net or whatever you're feeling. Don't do it alone. If you do it alone, you are going down the wrong road. Seriously. And unfortunately, a lot of people go down the wrong road on their own, and it doesn't end well. And I do not want to hear that anymore. The amount of people in this country, veterans and normal people, but just if we talk about veterans just for a sec, personally, when I hear of a veteran's death, it hits me right in the heart, and I don't know why. I do know why, because I'm a patriot and I love this country, and yes, too, I was a fellow soldier, and a lot of people, when I come back, people were going to Afghanistan as well, and then I think we lost 45 people over there. I think it was nearly 50 with a few accidents. There was an accident that happened with us. I don't want to say his name. I was going to say his name, but I better not do that. There was an accident with us. He was killed, subsequently killed, and bloody neighbours. Can you hear them? Hey, shouting at each other. But anyway, I don't like. So don't do everything on your own. Okay, that's my number one message. I just don't want you to do anything on your own. And for the load up I did yesterday of Aurora, after learning so much about her from, some amazing guys and amazing ladies, because sometimes I can't tell because someone like, Khalil, thank you. No, I'm not selling the parrot. That's my little mate. And then, at Asfarizva. Is it Asfariz? I'm sorry, I can't pronounce that right, but thank you very much for your information, and I couldn't believe that. And also to, I think his name is Groff. I'll just call him Groff. Thank you very much, bro. I got so many messages, man, and I've replied to you all. If I haven't, please let me know, and I will contact you, right, with my serious apologies, because I do like to interact with my people that have they give me a message. I like to reply. I think that's important. I mean, if you get 2.9 million followers, then that's going to be a little bit hard, isn't it? You know what I mean? And then I don't want the channel to. I want the channel to be out there, because I think mental health is important, but I don't think I want 29, say a million viewers, or a million subscribers, like some people have got like 30 million subscribers. I mean, they never have to work again in their life. You know what I mean? But I'm not here for that. That doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is saving people from mental health and not doing it alone. So I've got a nice little song for you today, and the name is Lusaint, I think. Because I can't get much more or less, but Lusaint. And she sings a cover of Wicked Game. And Wicked Game is an old song, so you're going to like this. This is really, really a good song. It's so special. So I'll knock myself down the bottom down here. Madame, the floor is yours. This is beautiful. Beautiful voice. Beautiful voice. Got press play.
The world was on fire and no one could save me but you. It's strange what desire can make foolish people do. I never dreamed that I'd meet somebody like you, and I never dreamed that I'd It's strange what desire can make foolish people do. I never dreamed that I'd know somebody like you. And I never dreamed that I'd know somebody like you. No, I don't wanna fall in love. No, I don't wanna fall in love. No, I don't wanna fall in love with you.
I love that. Man, oh man, oh man. Can she sing or what? God. And she puts like a haunting rendition behind Wicked Game. I haven't heard that song for so long, and I only seen it the other day, and I thought, ooh, I'll have to play that. I like that. You know, so I've started getting into more mellow music because of this channel, because of starting this channel. Instead of the normal Five Finger Death Punches and that, and you know, my Aussies and my Deep Purples, which I'm still going to play, of course, because they're my I love that music. But when I want to talk about mental health things, just remember, I never do it alone. Always tell somebody if you're feeling weird, a little down, a little consumed in yourself, and you don't really want to go out and participate in things like that, right? Because that's where I am now. I don't go out much. I mean, I'll obviously go out with a chick for the night, or you know, or, I'm not saying I'm a bastard and stay a night. You know what I mean? Or same girl, but normally we're just pretty much homebody. You know, so a homebody person. I like to be at home. Plus, I'm looking after my elderly parents, and it's only fair. I mean, the amount of shit that I've put them through in my life. And my dad's not well, and my mum's she's doing all right. She's pumping along. But yeah, my dad's beat prostate cancer. He's got a brain tumour that we're not sure on what is happening yet, but we're going on Thursday for some more bloods and that. So I'll take that up for that. And but please, wherever you are around the world, right? Please listen to Aurora. Please listen to Lusaint. Right? Mellow music, right? Don't have this thrash metal in your head, just doing your head in, you're going wild, because I know what that's like. You got your earphones on and you end up smashing up your whole room. I've done that about 15 times, right? And that, I think the first time was like 2009, 2010 was the first time that I really showed my PTSD side. And people were saying, what's wrong with you? Because I picked up a breakfast table we were all having breakfast at, and I just flipped it over, you know, and everyone's breakfast went so far. And then I've had other things where I've gone like just mental, and I've been out the front with a knife in my bloody hand and a samurai sword, and oh God, don't please don't ever act like that, because I was so high. I just didn't know, and I was so high, and I was so high with medication as well as drugs and alcohol all in one after so many years. There was only about a period between when I flipped that table and I started getting straight, between say 2011 And into 2012, I had another girlfriend, and then we separated. And then after that, I was still working with Caliber at the time. It was a good company, great people. And then I went up north and just started hitting the piss, basically. And then when each time I come down, it was just getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse until 2017. It was curtains. I thought I died, and I was in a coma. And that's because I done everything on my own, and I told nobody, nothing. They all suspected I was a drug user. Well, they said suspected, but I think they damn well knew I was a heavy drug user. I mean, I used to leave shit around the house and paraphernalia. So people knew. And it got worse and worse and worse until the actual DVA called me and said they needed to come and see me immediately. And they met me in Port Ellen, of all places. Met me while I was at work. I actually went out of the gate, clocked out, and went and had a meeting with this girl, with my boss's commission. I was only a superintendent, but I told him I had to skate and get some stuff for home before it was too late. And he said, yeah, no worries. But I went out and met this woman, and she just took one look at me and seen the big black eyes, you know, and I was always freaking out and stuff. But I don't want you to ever get to that point. And that's my whole being of making this channel. I want people to listen to more mellow music if they're angry, more beautiful music that make you walk along the beach and just you just dream your nightmares away, all right? And set yourself a goal, all right? First, do you really want to keep drinking? Is that going to solve your problem? No, it's not. Do you really want to keep doing the drugs? No, it's not. So you do one dream at a time, all right? You focus on the alcohol or the drugs or whatever the worst thing is, and you do them one by one, or try and do it all at the same time like I did. I done it all at the same time, right? But I was in a military hospital for 4 months. So when I was in the military hospital, I had about 4 operations as well, and a lot on my frontal lobe. They wanted to study that part of the frontal lobe to see how much it shrank from drugs and alcohol for like a 50-year-old man. And I think I've got another one coming up this year. They do it every year since 2017, and it started at 8 and now it's at 23 millimeter shrinkage. 23 mil. That's a lot. And that's what does to your brain, fries your brain. And before my brain is completely fried, because I'm starting with the old Parkinson's 2 by the look of things. Hopefully it's not. Hopefully it's just nerves trapped in my arms or whatever. But my hands, especially my right hand, and it's not from the tattoo. I've had that for years. But yeah, it's very hard to clench fists and things like that. It's lucky I've got a ball terror of a right. I'm only joking. Anyway, thank you for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel, please. I want it to grow, and mental health is so important to me. I want as much people to come on, and you don't have to tell us everything. I mean, you don't have to say everything. You can give me a personal direct message and I will answer that. You know, that's no problem. If you want to put something on and you're just replying through YouTube, like, I like your channel, there's a nice reaction, thank you, mate, thank you for your service, thank you, for what you're talking about. I so much appreciate them. But if you want to get into depth about your current situation or what you're going through and you want to just talk to somebody, by all means, I'm on Facebook. Just message. Do a DM. A DM will be much easier. But please don't shill me, all right? Because I get a lot of shills out there saying, "Oh, you're such a handsome man," and I think, "Oh, please, You know, you're like a 22-year-old model, as if you'd be interested in a bloke like me. 51 in a few days, gee, oh, geez. Not long. Not long. You know, I won't be here for my 51st. I'll tell you where I will be, though. I'll be having a few drinks that night. But my whole family's coming, so they'll tell me. They'll say, that's enough. And I've got that now in my head now where all right, understand. And I'll stop. But I still can't stop on my own. You know what I mean? It takes somebody to tell me stop. That's enough, Paul. Stop. Just stop. All right? So, thank you for being here. Please, I am going to give this channel more reflection in the background and make it more fruity-tooty, but I am a pensioner, so I've got to bring in little things at a time. Like this bloody thing here actually doesn't work with this camera, and this camera's giving me a little bit of jip at the moment, so we're going to have a punch-up after this. I bet you I win, because I'll just throw him straight out that window. Thank you all for being here. I love you so much. Thank you to all the people that done messaged me about Aurora. Such a beautiful name. I'm dying to see them Aurora lights up there. You know, that's when I had my tickets booked. Just quickly, I had my tickets booked in to go in January, December the 31st. I was leaving in Australia. I was going to England, Norway, Iceland. And then from Iceland, I was going to go down to Portugal and thaw out. But because I'm a photographer, see, I do a lot of photography. So I was taking all these beautiful shots of Scotland and all that, and Rosslyn Chapel. But my bucket list is Norway, Sweden, Iceland. I need to see them countries. Bless you all, wherever you are, whatever religion you're under, whatever colour you are, I don't care. We're all one human race. I do not believe in war. I do not believe in pigeonholing people, especially if they are struggling with mental health, because it's not all their fault. Sometimes things happen. So people out there need to be educated enough. So someone comes up to them and says, listen, mate, I'm not feeling too well. I'm really struggling with things. And people have got to stop saying, mate, suck it up, Drink a can of cement. You'll be all right, That attitude has got to go. Because if a mate walks up to me and says there's something wrong, I'll answer him. And I'll say, what do you mean? Tell me what's happening. And I'll see where I can help. If I can't help, I'll point them in a direction where I can help, where somebody can help. And that's my whole thesis. So I hope you do like this channel. I do want you to please like my channel. That gets the YouTube algorithm going. But please subscribe. Please come back. Whenever you're miserable or down, come back, have a talk, listen to some beautiful music. Eh? What can be better than that? I love you all. Peace out, YouTube. Aussie vet. He's out.